Hey book friends, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to a bit of a book haul. Well, maybe not a bit. This is quite a large book haul that I have of books. I'm looking at all the books and there's quite a few of them. But you guys, I'm so excited for all of them and I'm so excited to share them with you. So stay put and I'll get into all of these books. Hey friends, my name is Angie. Welcome back to the channel. Let's hop into some books. Now I have a number of books that I have already read. Maybe I'll start there. I did pick up these two books. So this is book 2 and book 3 in the Devoured World series by Megan E. O'Keefe. I finished all of these books this past summer. I raved about it in my summer favorites video, which I will link above. I think it was the last video on this channel, so check that out. All right, so next is a book that I have read, but I didn't love quite as much as those books. And that is Two Sides to Every Murder by Daniel Valentine. I think I gave this 3 stars, so I might be putting that on my Pango. We'll see. This was a fun YA slasher type book that has to do with a summer camp. It was fun. It was fast paced. It was a good time. That's actually all I've read, which I thought there was more, but that's all right. I have lots of good ones to read, but I'm currently reading this one. So this is the 3rd book in the Thursday Murder Club series by Richard Osman. It's called The Bullet That Missed. It's so much fun. I love these books for the cast of characters, for the older individuals who are at this retirement village and they solve murders. It's a good time. If you haven't tried these books, I highly recommend them. Okay, we're just gonna pull off the top now. So I picked up this one. I picked this up off of your guys' recommendations. I feel like so many people have been recommending this book series to me. It's actually just a duology. And so this is One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. I think this has to do with monsters, and I think it is a romance of some sort. It says Elspeth needs a monster. The monster might be her. I'm honestly not quite sure. Obviously, I just kind of picked it up based on hype, but it sounds like this girl, our main character, meets like a highwayman, and there's some magic involved, and they're on a quest to like rid their village of magic, maybe? Or monsters? Not sure. Okay. Another book. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to read this just because I feel like I have watched people read this and love it. Now, this is the first book in a series. I think the next book is coming out early 2025. So this is The Will of the Many by James Islington. So from what I understand, this is a bit of a school setting. It sounds like the boy, Viz, has to uncover something. He has to solve a murder, look for truth, and search for an ancient weapon. Not sure, but I have heard people rave about just kind of the world he's building in these books and that it's just really, really good. Okay, another one that I picked up at, I think, 2nd and Charles, the used bookstore here in my town. And so this is a Julie Clark. So I've read one Julie Clark, the one that had to do with airplanes. I liked it okay, but I feel like this is her more popular book. It's called The Lies I Tell, and this is Two Women, Many Aliases. And I like books that kind of have that premise where people have kind of secret identities and what are they hiding. And in this case, it is a twisted domestic thriller that dives deep into the psyches and motivations of 2 women and their unwavering quest to seek justice. Sounds good. Okay, another one I picked up was this book. So this is Long Bright River by Liz Moore. So I have recently, which I think, yep, it's in this pile, picked up the latest Liz Moore, and I realized I haven't read either of them. I probably should stop buying her books and see if I like her stuff, but I've heard that her writing is very kind of atmospheric, and this has to do with 2 sisters. I think one sister is an addict and the other maybe a police detective or something like that, and when Casey, the drug addict, disappears, the other sister kind of looks into it. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on there, but I've heard good things, so I'm excited to give it a shot. And then I have this one. Okay, I'm excited. I've been really liking sci-fi lately. And so my sister was giving me some books. My sister's fantastic. We've covered that on this channel. She's fantastic. This is called The Immortality Thief by Teron Hunt. So this is, I think, one of the Goldsboro editions, but it just sounded really interesting. It says, far off the edge of human existence, beside a dying star lies a nameless ship, abandoned and hidden, lost for a millennium. But there are secrets, there are terrible secrets that could change the fate of humanity. I don't know, it just sounds really fun. It's a really pretty copy, which doesn't mean it's going to be a great book, but I think it sounds really fun, and I've just been really enjoying sci-fi. Okay, next I have this book. Oh, you guys, I'm super excited to get to this whole series. So this is Belladonna by Adeline Grace. I am so stoked to read this. One, it's just super popular. It sounds very atmospheric, very fall, And I was sent this by my sweet friend, Gwen. I will link her down below. I talk about her and her Patreon all the time. But this has to do with a girl and her family. And I feel like there's something going on with her family. And it says that Cygnus' best chance of uncovering the murderer is an alliance with Death himself. I think her mom was murdered, but there's like Death. I always like when Death is a character. I'm not sure if like there's a romance with Death. I don't really know. But the latest book just came out. And so I figured if I like it, I'll just keep going. And same with this book. Okay, this book has been super popular. So this is Heartless Hunter. It's part of the series called The Crimson Moth by Kristen Ciccarelli. I think this sounds really good. This is a witch hunter romantasy, if I understand right. I'm hoping it's kind of a little bit of a slow burn. I'm hoping it's a little bit of pining. So this is enemies to lovers. Doesn't get more high stakes than a witch and a witch hunter falling in love in this best-selling romantic fantasy. Guys, I also picked up these two books. Justin Cronin's The 12 and The City of Mirrors. So this is book 2 and book 3 in the Passage series by Justin Cronin. And you guys, I read The Passage. I also talked about that in my summer favorites video, so go check that out. But I just think it's a very interesting world. It's very post-apocalyptic. There's kind of this big, bad, scary virus and these things that people are trying to stay away from and protect themselves from. But there's this girl named Amy who is in charge of kind of saving the world. And we're not quite sure how, and it's really interesting, and I am hooked. I'm hooked. And so I picked up the next 2, and I hope to get to them sooner rather than later because I'm very interested in how the author wraps it up or how it all ties together. All right, another book that might have been a bit of an influence but that's The Wren in the Holly Library by K.A. Lind. I heard about this through whose channel? Tori, from Tori Between Pages, something like that. But she made it sound so good. So it says, can you love the dark when you know what it hides? So it says 13 years ago, monsters emerged from the shadows and plagued Kersey's world into a cataclysmic war of near total destruction. So it's set in New York City. That's kind of fun. And she, our main character, is a gifted and fearless thief. And she decides to enter the Holly Library not knowing it's the home of a monster. Oh, I remember now. It's kind of Beauty and the Beast-esque. So that sounds really fun. All right, another one I picked up because I just can't help myself on Pango is I picked up Five Broken Blades by May Corland. And so this is, again, another beautiful copy. And I believe this has to do with kind of a misfit band of people who are trying to kill the king or something like that. So it says the 5 most dangerous liars in the land have been mysteriously summoned to work together to kill the god King June. Not quite sure. I think this is the first in a series though. Sounds very epic high fantasy as opposed to romantasy, which is good. And same with this one. So this is not a new book, but I remember hearing somebody talk about this and it sounded so interesting. So this is The Collar Bound by Rebecca Zahabi. It says bound by magic, marked by war, ready to fight. So what I understand is I think that like the slaves maybe are marked with this collar around their neck, and then our main character has somehow either broken it and people don't know it or something like that. Honestly, not sure. I just found like this idea of collars and things just really, really interesting. So totally random and different vein is Ready or Not by Cara Bastone. So this is a romance book, which I don't typically read a lot of romance books, but I have been more interested in them. And this is a pregnancy romance book, which I'm not quite sure. Some people hate that. I think that sounds really interesting. It says a surprise pregnancy leads to even more life-changing revelations in this heartfelt, slow burn, friends to lovers romance. That sounds so cute and so fun. And I don't know if I like pregnancy trope because I've been pregnant multiple times. And so that's just kind of fun. All right. The next one is The Reappearance of Rachel Price by Holly Jackson. I think I'm actually going to read this next, but I picked it up recently. I've been just curious about Holly Jackson's writing. Even though I hear this might not be her best work, I still think it sounds really good. It sounds like it's about this main character who lost her mother when she was like a teenager or something like that. Like her mother went missing, and maybe it has something to do with a summer camp. No, I don't think so. I think it has to do with a true crime documentary. And then her mom comes back, her mom being Rachel Price, and the story she tells maybe. So I think it sounds really good. It sounds really interesting. A few other books that I got recently from Book of the Month is Like Mother, Like Daughter by Kimberly McCreet. I'm curious about her writing. I've said that every time I've talked about this book. I think she could be an author for me. And it sounds like this is about a mother and daughter, obviously, but I think the mother goes missing and then her daughter is like looking for her, but they're like complete opposites. It sounds like the mom is very straight-laced and Cleo, the daughter, is polar opposite, out of control, emotional, unsafe. And now Cleo has to figure out what happened to her mom. So I also picked up The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. So like I said, I have the other Liz Moore, and this one also sounds really good. It sounds up my alley. It's another summer camp book, but this one has to do with a family. Like, I think it's the family that owns the camp. One of the campers missing, but the camper happens to be the daughter of the owner. And it's reminiscent of what happened to her brother. Her brother also went missing. I could be mixing that all up, but I think it has to do with this family and secrets in this camp. Okay, so I bought this on a whim because I like time-bendy sort of books. So this is The God of Endings by Jacqueline Holland. So this has to do with, I think, our main character who has been living for a while. Yes, there's something to do with her grandmother's long ago decision to make her immortal like herself. And so this says, combining brilliant prose with breathtaking suspense, The God of Endings serves as a larger exploration of human condition in all of its complexities. Sounds a little literary, a little historical, so I'm not quite sure where to put that, but it sounds fun. And then I do have a few more books that my sister gifted me. And so I can't remember if I talked about this one already, but I'm really interested in picking it up. So it's The Witch and the Czar, and it's written by Alyssa Gilmore. It's kind of hard to say all of her name, but this copy is beautiful. It's stunning. And I think this has to do with Baba Yaga, if I remember. Yes, it says, set in 16th century Russia, the story we know of Baba Yaga as a bony-legged witch of a Slavic fairy tales. And this, I think, kind of brings it more into a story, like the Tsar and the Queen or something like that, and Baba Yaga being asked to aid the Queen, something like that. It gives me a bit of Bear and the Nightingale vibes, but I don't want to compare it to that because that is one of my favorite series ever, and I feel like if I compare it to that, I will just be disappointed. But I still think it sounds really fun. Like Russian history just sounds really fun to me. Okay, I also have this book, So You Again by Kate Goldbeck. So this it's just very fall. And this has to do with two people who meet kind of under bad situations and they kind of hate each other and then they meet each other later in life. And it's a romance, I believe. But I've heard good things and I just want to have more romances on my shelf. Okay, I have another book that I've heard so much about. So this is A Study in Drowning by Ava Reed. So this is such a cool copy. It says the only enemy is the sea. And there's no dust jacket, it's just a hardcover. I have no idea what this is about. I feel like I heard people talking about it like over the past year or so, and I've always put it on my list, and now I cannot remember what it's about, and special editions don't have synopses. So I'm just gonna put that in my pile so you know that I have it, but I don't know what it's about. I also have this copy of Feybound by Sarah El Arafi. Okay, this is beautiful. It's just a beautiful copy. And from what I understand, this is kind of like Elven and Fae. I'm not really up on my fantasy species, whatever that would be called. But it sounds like there's a warrior, an elven warrior, and her sister. Then her sister does something and they both get kicked out and then they wander into the Fae court. I don't know, it sounds really good. And this just is beautiful. This blue one is really pretty. I think there's a red one, but that one just looks really fun. And then she also gave me this book, so Bonesmith by Nikki Paul Predo. I've never read anything by her, but I have heard that name before. So this is just a very interesting copy. It sounds like it has to do with a woman who is a ghost fighting warrior, and it sounds like she was part of a trial and then somebody set her up and now she's kicked out, banished to the border wall. Honestly, I have no idea. No idea what this is about. But when my sister offered it to me and I was like, yes, I will try that. And same with this book. So this book I heard about kind of earlier in the year, Lore of the Wild by Annalee Sabrana, I think. So this is, again, another beautiful copy. I think this has to do with a girl and protecting her village, and she has to go into these magical woods. And maybe there's fairies. Sorry, I really should look up what this was about, but I didn't. And then I have just a few more. My gosh. If you're still with me, thank you. Thank you for still being with me. But I do have The Stardust Thief by Chelsea Abdullah. So I've been recommended this book so many times because I loved, why am I blanking? The David Bad trilogy by S.A. Chakraborty. And so I think this has kind of similar vibes. It says, inspired by stories from 1001 Nights, the Stardust Thief weaves the gripping tale of a legendary smuggler, a cowardly prince, and a dangerous quest across the desert to find a magical lamp. And then another one I kept that I was just really interested in, and this is Year of the Reaper by Micaiah Lucier, I think is how you say it. So this one says it's 3 years ago, Lord Cassia disappeared in the midst of a war. And then he was put in prison, and having survived the prison, he's back, and he wants only to return to his home in the mountains. But everything has changed, and his castle has become a refuge for the royal court. Last book I also picked up at Second and Charles, and it's The Secret Keeper by Kate Morton. This book has been recommended to me a number of times, and I have read Kate Morton before. She's a popular kind of historical fiction writer. She's known for kind of dual POVs, kind of past, present secrets, if you will, and this one is no different. So this has to do with, during a picnic at a family farm, 16-year-old Lauren witnesses a shocking crime, a crime that challenges everything she knows about her mother, Dorothy. Now, 50 years later, Laurel and her sisters are meeting at the farm to celebrate Dorothy's 90th birthday. I'm guessing some of those secrets are going to be coming out, and they're going to learn about their mom. And so, you guys, I'm surrounded by so many good books, and I'm so excited for all of them, even the ones I didn't quite know what the synopsis was. I'm still so excited for them. And if you saw any books that you think I will like or that you have read and really liked, let me know, because I can prioritize some of them, because I feel like I'm almost equally excited for all of these books and I don't even know where to start. So let me know, and maybe you guys can help sway me one way or the other. But irregardless, that is what I have for this video. Thank you for coming along with me and seeing all the books I have purchased and I'm really excited about. And let me know down below if you have picked up anything you are just really loving. I love to hear from you guys. But if you can't think of anything to say and you want to let me know you were here, which I always appreciate, maybe put a fall leaf, because this is a big fall book haul, and I have this book which is very fall. So that's all I have, you guys. I hope you are well, and if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you want to, and you guys, I'll see you in the next book video. All right, take care. Bye.